Welcome to Banyen Books, Branches of Wisdom, celebrating the joy of bright ideas and heartful lifelong learning. Branches of Wisdom is a series of intimate conversations with the world's most influential authors and visionaries. We explore spirituality and the human mind, ecology and culture. Most episodes are recorded with a live audience. You can join our live events and submit questions to your favorite guests. Check out our upcoming schedule at banyen.com. Since 1970, Banyen Books has been a rich oasis at the crossroads of wisdom and philosophy, offering resources for humanity's evolving paths. We're a locally owned, independent bookstore in the heart of Vancouver's Kitsilano neighborhood. Visit us in person or shop online at banyen.com. Please subscribe, follow, like, and leave your reviews for the podcast. And now, enjoy.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Jacob Steele, Events Coordinator for Banyen Books and Sound. So today, Abiola Abrams will be sharing wisdom and practices from her new book, African Goddess Initiation, Sacred Rituals for Self-Love, Prosperity, and Joy, as well as from her new deck, African Goddess Rising Oracle Cards. Abiola Abrams is an award-winning author, intuitive coach, transformational speaker, and international retreat leader. As the founder of Woman Manifesting, is that how you pronounce it?
So you say like manifesting, but we're manifesting.
We're manifesting, thank you.
You got it.
Self-love empowerment platform, podcast, and Goddess Temple Circle. Abiola's calling to help and empower you to become who you were born to be. And as I mentioned earlier, her third book, recently published by Hay House, is African Goddess Initiation. And her fourth deck, which is coming out this coming Tuesday, is African Goddess Rising Oracle Card decks. And those are both going to be at Banyen. Abiola is the first generation American daughter of multi-generational healers, seers, and farmers in Guyana, South America, who are descended from several West African nations. Her work is based on the power of ritual, meditation, and chakras, combined with the ancient wisdom of the goddesses and ancestors. Abiola studied sociology at Sarah Lawrence College and has an MFA from Vermont College of Fine Arts. You can learn more about her work at womanifesting.com and on social media at Abiola TV. We're honored to have you here with us today. Please welcome Abiola Abrams.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And thank you to everyone who is in attendance at this event. You being here means that you value bookstores that are community centers like Banyen Books. And so please definitely, if you are purchasing the book and the deck, here's the deck, African Goddess Rising Oracle Cards. Please be sure to purchase them through Banyen and support your local bookstores. So I'm excited about this conversation. And the reason is that we are going to walk through your inner temples, our inner temples for healing, the goddess temples for healing. And I'm going to introduce you to the goddesses, ancestors, and mystical queens that are part of the African Goddess Initiation journey, as well as my new deck of cards. So the book, African Goddess Initiation, here's the book, and it is, as you can see, it is quite thick because it is a comprehensive journey, pathway, through the divine feminine spirituality, the divine feminine spiritual pathway through African spirituality throughout the African diaspora, meaning not only the 54 plus countries on continental Africa, but all of the people like me who are throughout the world. So my family, as Jacob said, is from Guyana in South America. So it's all of the people of African descent through South America, Central America, Latin America, the Caribbean, and of course, the United States, Canada, Europe, elsewhere. So this book, it was really important for me as the divine assignment was given to me by my ancestors to share our goddesses that are known as the Orisha, the Alusi, the ancestors and the queens of the African diaspora, and the lessons that they came to teach, along with the rituals. So each goddess in the book has a ritual that she came to share with you. So we're going to just do a walkthrough. The book is organized. The way it was given to me, again, to organize it was organizing it in order of our inner temples. So you may be familiar with the chakra system. There are a lot of different seven, for example, there's the seven African powers. That's an Orisha system. There are a lot of different seven energy systems throughout diverse spirituality. And so it was given to me to create a specific, well, I wouldn't say to create, to channel, to birth, to share a very specific African interpretation of those pathways that we're going to be walking through on our journey tonight through this book. So a few things that I want to just share with you before we get started. People have a nervousness when it comes to African spirituality, because African spirituality has traditionally been demonized, not only in the West, but by colonizers on the continent of Africa as well. And there are such powerful gifts, such powerful gems, such powerful spiritual medicine that traditional African spirituality holds, that I am glad that you are here so that you could start to drink a little bit of this sacred milk and get to know some of these gifts. When it comes to other kinds of multicultural, if you will, not a word I'm fond of in a big way, but multicultural spirituality, like, for example, Jewish Kabbalah or Japanese Feng Shui or Chinese Taoism or yoga and chakras, as I mentioned, from the Hindu practice. People are open to that. And then there's a block when it comes to African spirituality. So I'm inviting you to open your mind, open your heart as we go on this journey together. The other term that I found through this journey that is triggering for people is the word ritual. Now, you probably already practice many different rituals. In fact, I'm sure of it. Have you ever said bless you when someone sneezes? That is a ritual. Have you ever put up a Christmas tree? Have you ever blown out candles on a birthday cake? All of those things are rituals. Have you ever been to a wedding and seen a flower girl, bridesmaids, a best man, maid of honor? All of those things are rituals. Ritual is the way that we practice in this context, our spiritual journey in order to go deeper on our own personal evolution. And so that is what this book, these cards, are all about. There are divination practices in almost every African tradition. So all of this work is near and dear to my heart and my soul, and a gift from my ancestors to you. So let's meet the goddesses and ancestors on this journey. So The book, at the beginning of the book, before we get into your first inner temple, which is, I'm going to compare it to the chakra system just for your reference. So at the root chakra, that temple is known as the inner temple of ancestors. But before we get to that temple, I'm going to just show you inside the book where we have illustrations done by the incredible Destiny Powell. There is the threshold. So the threshold guardians. This book is a quest. And when you go on any quest, any journey, any passageway, you begin at the threshold. The threshold is the moment of decision. Okay. And so we begin at the threshold. Blessing of the threshold guardians. Dawn awakens. You are at the threshold. This is the bridge, the door, the passage, the gateway, the path to the rest of your path. It has taken you a lifetime of experiences to get here. May your joy know no limits. May you be loved wholly. May your calabash overflow with riches. May pleasure and creativity pursue you. May you be brazenly fearless. May your mind and heart be open. May you be you. This is the goddess blessing of the threshold. And then the very first goddess that we meet in the book is Nana Buluku, who is ancient from old Dahomey, which is now known as Benin. And here she is in the African Goddess Rising card deck, Nana Buluku. And she represents seasons, the seasons of your life. So when she shows up, if, for example, you're doing a reading with this deck, or you feel, or you're just going through the quest in the book, when you encounter Nana Buluku, she is all about the seasons that we're experiencing. You know, for example, in our hemisphere right now, it's harvest season. She is about the seasons of your life, where you are in your life. Are you in a season of parenthood? Are you in a season of, you know, we have endless amounts of, you know, different seasons in our lives. And so she gives guidance around your season, and the ritual that accompanies her is about that. So the next threshold guardian, along with Nana Buluku, are a dual deity known as Maulisa. They are the sun and the moon goddess, Mau, and Lisa, who in some stories is her husband, and in other stories is her brother. And sometimes they are also known as the children of Nana Buluku. I'm trying to hold it so that you could see them. And so Maulisa is also the principle of, which you may know also as yin and yang. So yin and yang, yin and yang, sorry, it's after 10 p.m. where I am. And so Maulisa, they are about cosmic power, about balance in the world. And so this is how you begin your journey, meeting Nana Buluku and Maulisa. And as you can see, it begins with the message directly from each goddess, and then you go into their story, and then you learn about the principle they came to teach. So see about cosmic power, and then how to honor the goddess, and then a traditional ritual, as well as a ritual for you to perform for your own personal development. So next up on our journey, then we begin with the root chakra energy center, which in this tradition is known as the temple of ancestors. Your root chakra is all about you being grounded, and it's about your safety and security needs. That's what the temple of ancestors is about. So your inner temple of ancestors, ancestors are very important in traditional African spirituality. And as I shared with you at the beginning of this session, my ancestors gave me the sacred assignment to bring this work forward. So I'm going to read to you Blessing of the Ancestors. Blessing of the Ancestors. Look for us amongst the oryx gazelles in the Kalahari Desert. Hear our guiding whispers in the Tengzung Shrine. Smell our fragrance in the dewdrops near the Zambezi. Taste our laughter in the guavas of the land of many waters. Sense our embrace beside the Sudanese pyramids. We see you laughing. We hear you crying. We feel you breathing. We love you being. We walk with you, and we are well pleased. Blessings and blessings. So the ancestors, so in African culture worldwide, when you invite an African person somewhere, we're going to bring friends. So when the goddesses showed up for this work, they brought friends, and those friends are sacred ancestors. So the first ancestor that we are going to honor and meet on this journey, and each ancestor, again, like every goddess and every ancestor in this deck, represents a sacred principle for us to pay attention to that is important in our personal development journey. And our first ancestor deserves all love, all edification, all honor. This is Goddess Sochi, and she represents grounding. She represents grounding. I'm going to show you her in the book. Sochi, you may have heard of by the name the Venus Hottentot, or the Hottentot Venus. And she was a Khoi girl who was, some say kidnapped, some say trafficked, some say, some say that she went willingly. But her body was displayed as a part of a sideshow in Europe, first in England and then in Paris. And so here she is in the Temple of Ancestors, and she has come forward to teach us about grounding. You may also know her by the name Sarah Bartman, Goddess of Grounding. And her affirmation is, I'm firmly planted and deeply rooted. So if you are somewhere where you can speak aloud, say those words. I'm firmly planted and deeply rooted. Firmly planted and deeply rooted. And so when she shows up, she is reminding you to be firmly planted and deeply rooted. Our next sacred ancestor on this journey in the Temple of Ancestors, representing our grounding, our safety, is Goddess Tituba. And this card represents feeling safe. And she is very special to me because she comes from the region of the world where my family has been for generations. The way that she was an enslaved person, and the first person to be accused in the Salem witch trials in the United States. But she is believed to have been kidnapped from Barbados, from Guyana, the Guyana region in South America originally, and then came through Barbados, a Barbados plantation, and was brought to Salem, Massachusetts from there. And so her lesson for us is about feeling safe in your body, feeling safe in your life, feeling safe in your mind, feeling safe in the world is a really important thing for the energy of the divine feminine. for all of us. We all have both feminine and masculine energy. It has nothing to do with how you were assigned at birth or how you show up in the world. And feeling safe is a key part of that journey. And so when she shows up, it may be that you are feeling unsafe in the world, or that you are needing to ground yourself or rearrange things in your life, or rearrange things energetically so that you are feeling safe. So let me show you her here in the book. And this is the goddess Tituba. Her affirmation for us is, I am safe, and it is safe to be safe. Say that out loud. I am safe, and it is safe to be safe. Yes. Moving on. So our next sacred ancestor that we meet on this journey is Goddess Mbuya Nehanda, who is a lion spirit. Mbuya Nehanda. I want you to see this. This art is really just beautiful. And I worked with an extraordinary artist named Destiny Powell. I tracked her down because I knew that she had to be the one. And my publisher, they were giving me all of these other artists, and Spirit said to me, no, it must be her. And I ended up having to track this woman down somehow through her LinkedIn, tracking her down, and, got her number, was texting her. And, it was an honor and a privilege to work with her, because she not only went with the designs that I was being told how, things and how goddesses and the environment and everything on the cards, the symbols needed to show up. But she also had her own guidance that was working with her as well. And so it was a beautiful, beautiful process for us as women of African descent to work together on this project. And I will share with you also, if you note here, the color of the number on each card represents the energetic color of that inner temple. So the energetic color of the inner temple of ancestors and the root chakra vibrates red. And as you can see, the lions that are with her, so Mbuya Nehanda is known as a lion spirit. She is the goddess of rebirth and known as a lion spirit in Zimbabwe. She is from the Shona people. And her spirit is incarnated. The Nehanda spirit is incarnated by powerful women, by warrior women. And so there have been many different Nehandas throughout history. This specific Nehanda that we honor here, Mbuya Nehanda, is a woman who felt the calling, heard the calling, and followed the call well in her 50s to become a warrior and fight back physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually against the colonization of her people in Zimbabwe. And one of the things that you will find throughout the African diaspora is that oftentimes the warriors are also spiritual healers, leaders, medicine women, etc. So she was the equivalent of a medicine woman in Mbuya Nehanda, but there have been many people to inhabit the Nehanda spirit throughout history. And in fact, there have been recent people to come forward and say, I am the next Nehanda. And there are tests that the elders know that they will, if you come forward and say that you are now Nehanda, they will give you the tests and say, well, where was Nehanda's, what was the lake, the pool like in front of her house? And if you don't have that information, if guidance, if spirit did not give you that information, then you are not Nehanda. So Mbuya Nehanda. And her affirmation, also from the late great ancestors, Dr. Maya Angelou, is still I rise. So you can say that out loud if you are able to, wherever you are. Still I rise. still I rise. And her last words were, my bones shall surely rise again. And Buya Nahanda. And so that is why her gift for us is rebirth. When she shows up, you are about to have a rebirth in your life. And one of the one-on-one sessions that I had done for a long time, and I'm getting the calling to do again, I'll be starting to do them again, is working with people on doing a sacred internal rebirth, an activation to reset your life. And I feel like, you know, because my great-great-grandmother in Guyana, she was a midwife and a woman's fertility healer. They didn't use that language, but that's what she did. And she helped women to give birth to their babies. And I help us as humans to have a rebirth for ourselves. So I love the energy of Nehanda. So our next sacred ancestor on this journey is Sarah La Kali. Sarah La Kali, and she is venerated by the Romani people, and she was said to be an Egyptian woman. And I'm going to share with you Sarah La Kali in the cards. And as you can see, her calling that she came to teach, what she came to teach is about having divine lineage. There are many different stories about Sarah La Kali, many different stories about her. Some say that she was the daughter of Mary Magdalene. Some say that she was a noblewoman. Some people say that she was the daughter of Jesus. There are many different stories and interpretations about her and her divine lineage, her powerful magical essence. And so her affirmation is, I am my sister, and my sister is me. Say that out loud if you can. I am my sister, and my sister is me. And her message is all about connection, and a deeper message also of the energetic frequency of your inner divinity, which is what this journey is all about. This work, when before the great pause, I was honored and privileged to lead in-person global retreats, and I will again. And the work that we do, the journeys we take, these spiritual journeys, are about us reclaiming our divinity, the divine frequency within, the goddess frequency, I call it. And so Sarah La Kali, that is what she is all about. This next goddess hails from New Orleans in United States, and you may have heard of her. She is Marie Laveau, great ancestress Marie Laveau. And I know that it's hard to see, the cards. It's because I had a choice of making them the matte style, which is kind of popular now, but I chose the shinier version because it makes the colors pop. And with Destiny's artwork, I thought that it was more important, but I'm trying to, there we go. That is great ancestress Marie Laveau. And she's all about good juju. Good juju. That's what this card is about. And this is a different energy than you may have seen from Marie Laveau previously. But she had many, many different sides to her. She was a devout Catholic, as well as many of the things that you may have heard about Marie Laveau. And her affirmation comes to me from hip hop. I'm a daughter of hip hop. Her affirmation is, all I do is win. All I do is win. And so just say that out loud wherever you are. All I do is win. Yes. And she is all about abundance. She is all about your prosperity, your abundance, abundant health, abundant love, abundant wealth. She is, when Marie shows up, when you get this card and the ritual that you will do with Goddess Marie in the book, the Gree bag, when she shows up, it's about your coins. Marie is here to enhance your good juju. Trying to, there we go. You're good, Juju. So moving on. So next, we then from our when you do all of the rituals that help you to ground yourself in all of the principles that we just talked about in the Temple of Ancestors, you then move to your next inner temple, known as your sacral chakra, or in this practice, your temple of conjurers, your temple of conjurers. And so here is the Temple of Conjurers. It's all about your magic, or your Heka, as they say in the Egyptian tradition. Blessing of the conjurers. Sewing, tacking, molding, weaving, bending the order of time. Spinning, knitting, stitching, dreaming, bending the meaning assigned. You see it, you feel it, you be it. Shift the months from conception to birth. Place the clock's numbers as needed. Spin, weave, dance, shift. Do you trust what you see? With my little eye, I spy you. You create. You deserve. You receive. You deserve. You are fertile. You are ready. Enchanted dawning, sacred one. And those are some of the principles of the sacral chakra. It's your creation energy, your creation energy center in your body. So our first goddess who showed up here to represent the temple of conjurers, or the sacral chakra, is all about desire. Desire. And she is goddess Ngame, who is of the Ashanti Akan people that I am descended from. So that is goddess Ngame. And she is a triple moon goddess. And a very interesting thing about her is that the supreme being in the Ashanti culture is known as Enyame, and her name is Ngame, and it is because people say that it's because originally she was the supreme being before it was switched over to the masculine energy being the supreme. So there she is. And let's see, her affirmation is, what I desire desires me. Again, this is a center and an energy about manifestation and creation, creativity. What I desire desires me. Say that and let it feel good in your body. What I desire desires me. And this is an important principle because oftentimes when it comes to the divine feminine, desire has been frowned upon, demonized, thought of as, an illicit thing, the word desire. But your desire is a creative force. Everything that is around us, from this Zoom that we're talking on to this water here, everything begins with the energy and the force of desire. So our next goddess is goddess Mojaji. So Mojaji is also another fascinating goddess. This is Mojaji. As you can see, she is dancing in the rain, and her principle is manifestation. And the reason she's dancing in the rain is because she is the rain queen. So the interesting thing is that goddess Mojaji is a deity, and also she is an actual queen in South Africa. Currently, her seat is empty only because it's waiting for the next Mojaji to come of age, but it is a matrilineal line, the only matrilineal line going back over 500 years. And each Mojaji is, some say Mojaji, some say Mojaji, each is designated and chosen by the creator to incarnate into a special family and the Mojaji is now recognized by the South African government. So let me just show you her in here too. The Rain Queen, Mojaji, goddess of manifestation of the Balobedu people of South Africa. And there's a water whisperer ritual that is really powerful that you can do that's in the book to manifest in your life. And her affirmation is divine blessings flow to me so easily. So easily. And you got to do it like that, so easily. So say that out loud if you can, where you are. Divine blessings flow to me so easily. Yes. Divine blessings flow to me so easily. Goddess Mojaji, who is here to, and that's what the rain does, right? That's what rainwater does. It manifests and it births plants, and that's water. We're 80% water. Water is a creative force. Again, sacral chakra area energy. Again, the inner temple of conjurers. Conjure is an African American spiritual practice of manifestation and creation, and that's where the term comes from. That's a simplistic explanation, but you can read in a deeper way about what conjure is in the book. Okay, so next up on our journey, we have Ma'at, sometimes pronounced Ma'at, Ma'at, who is an Egyptian goddess of balance. And in this practice, she has showed up to represent giving and receiving. Giving and receiving, a very important divine feminine principle, giving and receiving. Because many of the people who I'm sure are attracted to this call, the people who would be attracted to Banyen books, the people who come to my retreats and you know would purchase this work, are people who are natural givers. We give easily and effortlessly, but if you give without receiving, then you're out of balance. And receiving, the magnetic energy of receiving, the energy of just being able to receive is really powerful and needed for creation. And so maybe you're watching this and this is a reminder for you to receive. Receiving is a spiritual practice. So that is Ma'at. And as you can see, the numbers, the color of the numbers, I forgot to point out, has changed. So here it is now, the numbers are now orange, which is the vibratory energy of the sacral chakra or the inner temple of conjurers. Okay, so moving on. Our next goddess that we are going to meet on this journey is Tanit, goddess Tanit. She also is a favorite goddess of mine, goddess Tanit, who hails from Tunisia. And she is all about pleasure. She is also a moon goddess. In Ibiza, people still go and dance on the tables in tribute to goddess Tanit. Some people say Tanit, but Tanit. And she represents pleasure. Pleasure, like desire, is again, the word itself sounds illicit. Pleasure, desire, but pleasure is a creative force. Pleasure is a creative force. And her ritual in the book is sacred erotic magic. And her affirmation is, it feels good to feel good. It feels good to feel good. Say that out loud if you can where you are. It feels good to feel good. Yes, it feels good to feel good. Okay, so next up, our next goddesses who showed up for this journey are also ancestors. So this is the Seven Sisters, also from New Orleans. One of the things that people really enjoy about this specific journey, in this specific passageway, again, it is the African diaspora. When African people were trafficked from Africa, from the continent of Africa throughout the globe and throughout this hemisphere, we hid our deities in songs, in stories, in folk tales. And so it's really, for me, I feel honored that I was chosen by my ancestors to put this work together and and be able to share it and pass it on. So so the seven sisters, they represent creativity. Creativity. Now let me tell you about these goddesses over here, these magical women. Let me show you. New Orleans. I am a creative visionary is the affirmation. I am a creative visionary. Say that if you can. I am a creative visionary. So when you see them, I'm going to just read. You're not seeing double, triple, or even quadruple. The seven sisters were a famous family of identical master psychics and hoodoo sisters who could help anyone get what they needed. But were they? Local New Orleans lore tells a different story. So people didn't know for sure whether they were really seven sisters or whether it was one woman that they kept seeing, or one woman pretending to be seven people, or one woman who was showing up and, in spirit form, or could multiply herself, or what was going on. And there have been claims again of who it was. There, people say it was this person or that person. And I go into more detail about it in the book, but the seven sisters, in New Orleans, what happens in New Orleans stays in New Orleans. So we may never know. And you can go to the block where they say that their seven identical houses were. All of that is in the book. Some people say it was one Miss Ida Carter of Alabama. She claimed that it was her, or people claimed that it was her. And their homes were on the 2300 block of Coliseum Street in New Orleans. So those are the seven sisters, and they were very, very powerful, very magical. There are songs about them. Oh, there are playlists in here too. So there are songs about each goddess in here as well. And so those are the seven sisters. So then from there, let me see. Okay, we only got through two temples. His next up is the Temple of Warriors. So maybe what I will do is I'll do just a quick spin through of the cards, because we are running out of time, so that you can see the rest of them, be able to see them all. This was fun. So, okay, so now we are in the Temple of Warriors. As you see, the color here is now yellow. And this is Goddess Oya. Storms. You can see her there. Just going to do a quick spin through. This is Goddess Atete, worthiness. And Oya is Yoruba. Atete is from the Oromo people of Ethiopia. Next up, Sekhmet, wounded healer. Egypt and Sudan. Next up, Asaseya, goddess of joy, also Ashanti from Ghana. Asaseya. See, she is an earth goddess representing joy. And these are all principles around your inner temple of warriors, or your solar plexus chakra, or also known as the belly button chakra. I like to call it her navel chakra, which is all about your personal power, your ashe. Next up, Satira. Satira gal. Very important to me, because Satira is from my family's village in Guyana. And there is Satira, and in the book you learn why there's a train there. She's got the Buxton spice mango the Kaitour Falls or waterfalls in Guyana and all of that. You learn about it in the book, and she represents being brazen, barefaced and brazen. If there are any Guyanese folks in the audience, you know what I'm talking about. So that's Goddess Satira. Okay, and then moving on is our inner temple of shadows. And actually, why don't we do this? I'm going to pause and see if we have any questions. And because I can go through this all night. So let me just pause and see if we have questions. Hi there.
Oh, there was a question from Aisha. She was asking why you chose Sarah Bartman to represent Goddess of Grounding when she herself had been deprived of her personhood and agency by colonialism, racism.
That's exactly why. That it was really important for me to help her as an ancestor to reclaim her sense of self here in this journey. And so one of the things that is really important in our cultures is that, our relationships with our ancestors are reciprocal. If you have you feed your ancestors, you take care of your ancestors, you elevate your ancestors, all of those things, because when you cross over, your journey isn't finished and complete. You're not who you were in earth form. You are we're in earth school. Right? And they're in a school as well, and on their pathway and on their journey as well. And so she was robbed of her personhood while she was here. She was robbed of her personhood while she was here. And so it was really, really important for me. We took a very long time, even for example, with me downloading that section actually happened pretty fast, but with the artwork, for example, took a very long time because I wanted to make sure that her energy, that she felt good in the way that she was being portrayed in this deck, in the way that she wasn't being exploited again, that she wasn't being put on display to be exploited again. And the same way that we as human beings, we teach what we most need to learn. So for me, I am to put it most simply, a self-love coach. And it's not because I grew up knowing, okay, self-love, and I'm, hallelujah, I'm healed. It's because, I went through my own periods and pathways of self-loathing in order to learn those lessons. But that's a really important question. Thank you, Aisha.
There was another question about male gods and within the cosmology, and I guess your work really focuses on the female goddesses. So what's the relationship between the two? How do they?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I have been doing this work personally for over 20 years and holding goddess circles, first in my living rooms that became retreats, etc., and have been waiting to see if I would receive the call to work with male gods, and it hasn't been my call. But it is that there's divine feminine energy and there's divine masculine energy. The patriarchal structure that we've all been living under, that is holding on for dear life and its last grasp, that's not divine masculine energy. That's not divine masculine energy. And so that's why at the threshold we met Maulisa, the yin and the yang, the sun and the moon, the masculine and the feminine energy, because we need that balance. We need both. And we all have divine masculine and divine feminine energy. So it's a great question, and it would be really interesting and really powerful. And who knows, like I said, up to this moment, I haven't gotten that call. But the way spirit works, the way spirit is organized, in my life, it could be, I could turn this off and they could be like, okay, here's your next assignment. But as of now, this is what my work has been.
Nice. I want to just say that I was saying what do you call those? The affirmations.
Mhm.
I found them really
Oh, yay.
exciting and powerful. So I'm
Oh,
going to
that's
revisit
great.
those. And so that has a question that I have. How do you work with the cards? Like, how would somebody work with them?
So there are a number of different ways to work with the cards. I always recommend when you get a new deck of cards that you, as you are getting to know the cards, they're getting to know you. Let them get to know you. The energy of your deck is going to be very different than the energy of my deck or someone else's deck, even though it's all the same deck. And so you begin by going through with this deck. I recommend you begin by going through and saying each name out loud to the best of your ability. It doesn't, it's okay if you fumble a pronunciation. Your intention is there. It's your intention. Spirit reads our vibration and our intention. And names are incredibly important in African traditions globally. Names are incredibly important. And so speak each name out loud. Our names cast a spell. So say each name out loud and notice and pay attention to, the symbolism. There's not one thing that is in this deck that is there, superfluously. There's no, just like, oh, well, let's just throw this there. No, everything does mean something. I had this boyfriend who that used to annoy him, just in general. He was like, does everything mean something? Yes, everything does mean something. So when you go through, the deck, pay attention and see what your visceral response is to everything that you're looking at. So you're meeting the goddesses and the ancestors in the deck. So Nana Buluku, and you can have a journal next to you. And if there's something that that you feel like they're telling you, you'll feel at first when you're working with your intuition, you'll feel like, okay, am I making this up? You're not making it up. If guidance is telling you something, write it down, jot it down. I also recommend with each new deck that you cleanse and clear the energy of that deck. And so there are different things that you could use to cleanse. You can use sound, you can use chanting, you could use smoke, you could use the new moon, there are many different ways of clearing and cleansing. I talk about all of them, in the book or in a lot of like my free videos on YouTube or on my site on womanifesting.com. And in the guidebook, there's a really great guidebook also that comes with the book. So you're going to clear and cleanse the deck, and then you want the deck to take on your energy. So I recommend sleeping with the deck under your bed, keeping the deck close to you so that it can start to get to know your energy. So those are some ways to begin to work with a new deck. And then I also share very specific spreads that are specific to this deck also in this guidebook. And the most simple is always just pulling one card, which I call doing an Ashe reading, the life essence reading. But there's the Ashe spread, there's the Goddess Temple spread, there's the Talking Drum spread, so the guidebook, again, nothing here is just, thrown together. It's all meticulously created with love just for you.
And do the spreads indicate like where you are in your life or where you're heading, or is it more like messages that you need to hear or things you need to connect with?
All of the above, all of the above. So I say, look at it this way, because I remember many years ago being afraid of cards. It terrified me, even though I come from a very intuitive family and spiritual background. And I always felt like, okay, well, if the creator wants me to know something, I'll be given directly. Like somehow the cards scared me, like they could somehow, alter my future or something like that. But what divination does, what cards do when you are reading them, it's about your intention. So, and it gives a snapshot of what the truth is at that moment with everything that is true at that moment. you have free will over and control over your life. And so if you're getting, okay, this is what the snapshot is at this moment, the snapshot could change in 5 minutes based on you making different choices and decisions about your life. So it is giving you guidance about, if everything remained the same going forward, this is what is happening. This is the snapshot of this moment.
Thank you. You spoke a few times about the importance of ancestors and how they can communicate what they would like you to do. And I actually got a reading from an African shaman who told me something very profound about something that he said that ancestors wanted me to do, which felt like very meaningful to me. I guess my question is, how do you connect with this knowledge, and how do you know what they want, and what does that mean for them to want something, you to do something?
So that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that the easiest way is to start to build a relationship with your ancestors. And oftentimes people will say to me, that they either maybe they don't like the people in their family, or the people in their family were not positive people, or whatever it is. Each and every one of us is made of thousands of ancestors. So you may only be aware of, most of us are only aware of like a couple of generations of people. Those are not your only ancestors. And again, your ancestors continue to evolve when they leave the earth plane. Some come back, some are you, and so it's not a finite thing. So begin by creating an ancestral altar and creating a space for them that says, hi, I see you, I feel you, I acknowledge you. You can set a place for them. One of the things my family, we do, for example, on Thanksgiving, we set a place, at the table for ancestors, set a place for them. You want to feed and nurture and care for them, and you're building a relationship with them, and then you can find out from them what it is that they are wanting. So, for example, I don't drink or smoke, but if on my ancestral altar, some of my relatives, if my ancestors said to me, this, I'm needing some good Guyanese Demerara rum, then that's what they're needing, some Demerara rum, right? Or, I don't eat pork, but if that is what they were needing and that's what they are wanting, then you can put that on the altar for them as an offering.
Very good. And it sounds like you mentioned there that an ancestor could come back as you, and then you'd mentioned like they're sort of almost avatars. Is reincarnation a feature in African cosmologies?
Absolutely, absolutely. And very powerfully in Igbo culture, for example, you want to help your ancestors to cross over. And if, that's why in a lot of our traditions, so for example, in Guyana, where my family's from, we have, after someone has passed away, it's called a 9-night. We have this in Jamaica. We have it a lot of places throughout the Caribbean and the diaspora, where for 9 nights, you are taking care of them in their journey. And if there's a person that, for example, you do not want to return, you don't want their energy to return to the bloodline, in Igbo cosmology, you wouldn't necessarily go through all of the rites and all of the rituals to help them to come back. And when a baby is born, you look for their scars, because oftentimes they will have the same scar or same birthmark, sometimes that an ancestor had, or their mannerisms, or the ways that they, are moving or talking and that sort of thing. And you could see, oh, okay, that's grandpa such and such, or whoever it was. So yes, absolutely. That is a big, big part of African spiritual philosophy.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. I guess we were approaching time, and there were many goddesses that we didn't get to,
Yes.
and more temples to get to. But people can delve into the book, and into the cards, and there's so much richness in there. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed this conversation, and it was wonderful to get to spend time in the energy of Banyen books.
Absolutely, and I'm so glad that the ancestors chose you. I think that you're a great vehicle for sharing these teachings.
Thank you. That means so much to me, Jacob. Thank you. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful evening.
You too, and thank you everybody. And Banyen.com, and you can also find Abiola's work at womanifesting.com and at Abiola TV. And have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks for joining us for Branches of Wisdom, a podcast of Banyen Books and Sound, Canada's spiritual and healing resource since 1970. Our podcast producer is Jacob Steele. The show is edited by Abdo Habani. Watch all our conversations on YouTube by searching for Banyen Books, or listen on your favorite podcast platform. Please subscribe, follow, like, and leave your reviews and comments. We love to hear from you. For all our live events, books, and more, visit us at banyen.com.